Chapter 3 of The Fury by By-Alex Michallides. Kate was in the middle of a rehearsal. She was due to open in just over a week at the Old Vic in a new, highly anticipated production of Agamemnon, the tragedy by Aeschylus. Kate was playing Clytemnestra. God, I hope I said that right. This was the first run through of the play in the actual theater, and it was not going well. Kate was still struggling with her performance, more specifically with her lines, which, at this late stage of the game, was not a good sign. "For Christ's sake, Kate," yelled the director, Gordon, from the stalls, in his booming, glass-swinging accent. "We open in 10 days. Can you not, for the love of God, sit down with the fucking book and learn the lines?" Kate was equally exasperated. "I know the lines, Gordon. That's not the problem. Then what is? Pray enlighten me, love." Gordon was being heavily sarcastic and not waiting for the answer. "Keep going," he shouted. "Between you and me, Entre nous and Barbara West used to say." I don't blame Gordon for losing his temper. You see, despite Kate's immense talent, she was hugely talented. Let's make no mistake about that. She was also chaotic, messy, temperamental, usually tardy, often belligerent, not always sober, as well as, of course, brilliant, charismatic, funny, and possessing an unerring instinct for truth, both on and off stage, all of which combined meant, as poor Gordon had discovered, she was a bloody nightmare to work with. "Ah, but that's not fair, is it? Slipping in my judgment of Kate like that, under the radar, so to speak, as if you wouldn't notice. I'm a sly one, aren't I? I've sworn to be objective, inasmuch as it's possible, and let you make up your own mind, so I must honor that. Wow. Henceforth, I will endeavor to keep my opinion to myself. I will stick to the facts. Kate Crosby was a British theater actor. She grew up in London, in a working-class family south of the river, though any trace of an accent had long since been obliterated by years of drama school and voice training. Kate spoke with what used to be known as a BBC accent, rather refined and hard to place, but it must be said her vocabulary remained as earthy as ever. She was deliberately provocative, with a touch of the end of the pier, as Barbara West put it. Bawdy is the word I would use. There was a famous story about how Kate once met King Charles when he was still Prince of Wales at a charity luncheon he was hosting. Kate asked Charles how far away the toilets were, adding she was so desperate, "Sir, if she had to, she'd piss in the sink." Charles roared with laughter, apparently entirely charmed. Kate's evidential damehood was no doubt secured there and then. Kate was in her late 40s when our story begins, or possibly older. It's hard to know exactly. Like many actors, the precise date of her birth was a movable feast. She didn't look her age, anyway. She was lovely to look at, as dark as Lana was fair, dark eyes, dark hair, in her own way. Kate was every inch as attractive as an American friend unlike Lana. She used a great deal of makeup, heavy use of eyeliner, and several layers of thick black mascara, accentuating her big eyes. The mascara never came off, to my knowledge. I think she just added a layer or two daily. Kate, whose look was more actressy than Lana's, lots of jewelry, chains, bracelets, scarves, boots, big coats. It's as if she were doing everything she could to be noticed, whereas Lana, who in many ways was truly extraordinary, always dressed in as simple a manner as possible, as if drawing undue attention to herself would be in bad taste somehow. Kate was a dramatic person, larger than life, with a restless energy. She drank and smoked constantly, in this and every other regard, I suppose. Lana and Kate must have regarded as opposites. Their friendship was always a bit of a mystery to me, I'll admit. They seemed to have so little in common, yet were the very best of friends, and had been for a long time. In fact, of all the several intertwining love stories in this tale, Lana and Kate's relationship was the earliest and endured the longest, and was perhaps the saddest of all. How did two such different people ever become friends? I suspect youth had a lot to do with it. The friends we make when young are rarely the kind of people we seek out later in life. The length of times we have known them accords them a kind of nostalgia in our eyes, if you will, an indulgence, a free pass in our lives. Kate and Lana met 30 years ago on a film set, an independent movie being shot in London, an adaptation of The Awkward Age by Henry James. Vanessa Redgrave was playing the lead. Mrs. Brooke and Lana was her daughter. The Queen Nanda Buckingham. Kate had the comic supporting role of the Italian cousin, Aggie. Kate made Lana laugh off camera as well as on, and over the summer shoot, the two young women became friends. Kate introduced Lana to London nightlife, and they were soon out every night. Having a gracious time, turning up on set hungover, sometimes no doubt knowing Kate's still drunk. It's like falling in love, isn't it? When you make a new friend, and Kate was Lana's first close female friend. Her first ally in life. Where was I? Forgive me. It's proving rather a tricky thing to keep hold of a linear narrative. I must endeavor to master it, or, well, never make it to the island, let alone the murder. Kate's rehearsal, that's it. Well, it struggled on limply, and she kept stumbling through her speeches. But not because she didn't know the lines. She knew the lines, she just didn't feel comfortable in the part. She felt lost. Clytemnestra is an iconic character, the original female fatale. She killed her husband and his mistress, a monster or a victim, depending on how you look at it. What a gift to an actor, something to sink your teeth into. You'd think so anyway, but Kate's performance was remaining bloodless. She seemed unable to summon up the requisite Greek fire in her belly. Somehow, she needed to burrow her way inside the skin, into the heart and mind of the character, discover a small chink of connection that would allow her to inhabit her. Acting for Kate was muddy, magical process. But right now, there was no magic, just mud. They staggered on to the end. Kate put a brave face on it, but she felt wretched. Thank God she had a few days off now for Easter, before the tech and dress rehearsals. A few days to regroup, rethink, and pray. Gordon announced at the end of rehearsal that he wanted everyone word perfect after Easter, or I will not be responsible for my actions. Is that clear? He addressed this to the whole cast, but everyone knew he meant Kate. Kate gave him a big smile and pretended to kiss a pretend kiss on the cheek. Gordon, love, don't worry. It's all under control, promise. Gordon rolled his eyes, unconvinced. Kate was backstage to get her stuff. She was still moving into the stars' dressing room, and it was a mess. Half unpacked bags, makeup, and clothes everywhere. The first thing Kate did in any dressing room was light the jasmine candle she always bought for good luck, and to banish the stuffy backstage smell of stale air, old wood, carpet, damp exposed brick, not to mention the sneaky cigarettes she would put off on the window. Having relit the candle, Kate rummaged inside her bag, pulling out a bottle of pills. She shook a Xanax into her hand. She didn't want the whole pill, just a little bit, a nibble, to take the edge off her anxiety. She broke it in half, then bit off a quarter. She let the fragment of bitter pill dissolve on her tongue. She rather enjoyed the harsh chemical taste of it. She imagined the nasty taste meant it was working. Kate glanced out the window. It was raining. It didn't look heavy. It might brighten up soon. She'd go for a walk along the river. A walk would be good. She needed to clear her head. She had so much on her mind. She felt quite dizzy with it all. So much ahead. So much to think about, to worry about. But she couldn't bear to face it just now. Perhaps a drink would help. She opened a little fridge underneath the dressing table and took out a bottle of white wine. She poured herself a glass and perched on the dressing table, and she lit a cigarette, strictly against theater rules, punishable by death. But fuck it. The way things were looking, this was the last time she'd act in this theater, or any other. Come to that, she threw a look of hatred at the script. It glared back at her from the dressing table. She reached over and turned it face down. What a disaster. Whatever her think again was a good idea. She must have been high when she agreed to it. She cringed, visualizing the vicious reviews. The Times theater critic already hated her. She'd have a field day tearing her apart. So would that bastard at the Evening Standard. Her phone rang, a welcome distraction from her thoughts. She reached for it and checked the screen. It was Lana. Kate answered. Hey, you okay? I will be, Lana said. I worked out what we all need is some sunshine. Will you come? What? To the island for Easter. Lana went on before Kate could respond. Don't say no, it'll just be us, you, me, Jason, and Leo, and Agatha, of course. Agatha, of course. I'm not sure if I'll ask Elliot. He's been annoying me lately. Well, what do you say? Kate pretended to be deliberate. She tossed her cigarette, but out the window into the falling rain. I'm booking my flight right now.